Pops, there is a serious vehicle affordability crisis. We have the latest data from Cox Automotive, and it paints a scary picture for the haves and the have-nots. The headline, Dad: new vehicle average transaction prices in the month of December reached an all-time high, $49,507, a 2% increase from the month before, about a $1,000 increase, and a nearly 5% increase, almost $2,300 from a year earlier. We've got an affordability crisis, don't we?
Well, if you're average, and I like to think of myself as being slightly above average, but if you're average, I don't think the average person thinks that nearly $50,000 for a vehicle is a reasonable amount of money to spend. So yes, for many, many, many people, an average transaction price, getting very close to $50,000 is just way too much.
All right, let's look at America's favorite brand when it comes to trucks, Dad, Ford. What do you think? What do you think for the year 2022? What do you think they're... Here, I'll tell you this.
Okay.
The average transaction price for a Ford in January of 2022 was $51,205.
A Ford pickup truck or just
all
a Ford?
All Fords. Not Lincoln, just Ford. What? $51,205.
Okay.
What do you think the average transaction price was for a Ford in December of 2022?
$53,000.
$57,170.
Oh, stop it.
Okay, so it's not even just the luxury brands. We made the other video calling out Honda and Toyota and Subaru, and then I got a bunch of emails and comments from people saying, Zach, it's not just those brands. I'm a Volvo salesperson. I haven't seen a base level Volvo come in from the manufacturer in a long time. That we are seeing manufacturers a 12% year-long increase in average transaction prices for Fords. What? Over
$57,000 is the average transaction price for a Ford.
Dad, the average transaction price for an F-Series pickup is $66,451.
How is that? Who can I say this all the time. Who can afford that? That is high-end luxury brand pricing. And that's a pickup truck. Now, I realize it's a pretty luxurious pickup truck, but any way you look at it, it's still a damn pickup truck.
Ford sold 75,000 of them in December, their best month of 2022. Again, at an average transaction price of $66,451. It's not just Ford.
Yeah.
Look at the average transaction price for non-luxury vehicles. Toyotas, Hyundais, Hondas. The list goes on there. In December, $45,578, up $1,000 month over month. And
that's for your mass market.
Market. And here's the deal, folks. We talk about it all the time. Car prices are coming down. They are. MSRPs are going up, and manufacturers' decisions to produce only vehicles that have higher MSRPs, that is not changing. They are only producing more expensive vehicles, leading to data like this.
Yes.
The days of paying over MSRP are for the most part, gone.
Yes.
However, we're still seeing the affordability crisis get worse and worse and worse.
Oh, these numbers are staggering. It really points out that for the vast majority of Americans, that these cars at these average transaction prices are out of reach 100%. For those people.
CarEdge.com/finance pops. You can go there and do what?
You can finance, refinance, save money, and it only takes seconds to do.
All right, go take a peek. Don't go to the dealer without getting a pre-approval. We're here to help.
The only thing that is within reach for a lot of these people are still overpriced pre-owned cars. Now, yes, pre-owned car prices are dropping to some degree, but nowhere near the amount that they need to drop to make them more affordable to more people. But these types of numbers are just, they're hard to fathom.
Now, the other phenomena that is interesting to see, and this ties in with luxury vehicles and the average transaction price for a luxury vehicle in the last month of last year, $66,660. Again, that F-Series truck is right there.
So that doesn't even include the F-Series truck because that's not considered a luxury vehicle.
Correct.
But it's priced. It's
Audi, BMW, Infiniti, Lexus, Lincoln, Volvo, Mercedes-Benz, Land Rover, Acura. Yeah, like that's what's going into that $66,660. Dad, the phenomena here that is also shocking, truly shocking, is the share of luxury buyers in the market.
Keeps increasing.
In December, 18.6% of total sales or luxury vehicles, up from
Yes.
18.2% in November. That the previous high for the luxury market in a month was 16.5% in December back in 2018. Every month in 2022, share of luxury vehicle purchases increased. No wonder Honda dropped their base trim level. No wonder Toyota has stopped producing LE models. No wonder Subaru is only producing Onyx, because these mass market brands are looking at this data that the American consumer is perpetuating, where they are just plowing stupid amounts of cash into depreciating assets. This is insane.
Well, they might not be plowing any cash into it. It's all could just
They're
payments.
financing for 10 years.
But here's the interesting thing, at least in my mind. Out of that 18.6%, how many of those people literally can really afford to be a luxury car buyer? How many are pretenders? How many are wannabes? How many are people that just want to give the impression that they've acquired a certain amount of wealth? My suspicion is that probably half, if not more, really should be looking at higher end mass market brands saving themselves $25,000 on a purchase, and stop kidding themselves.
Not only do we have a video in Deal School about how much vehicle can I afford, I'm fairly certain on our YouTube channel here we have videos about how much vehicle I can afford. And nowhere does that say that if you're making, I don't know, $70,000 a year, which is a great living, if you're making $70,000 a year, you should be spending, I don't know, $1,000 a month on your car payment. But quite frankly, a lot of folks are. They're just stretching it out maybe over an 84-month loan, so maybe the payment's a little bit less. That the bright spot, if there is a bright spot, would be the fact that EV prices have come down. EV prices have been forever incredibly high, unattainable, luxury price points. EV prices decreased in December $3,495.
Wow.
Over 5.5% compared to November. And this data would obviously be before Tesla introduced their price slash. They dropped the price. They did introduce some discounts and things like that, but they hadn't slashed their prices yet. Obviously, Tesla commands most of the EV market. Still, about 60 to 70% of new EVs sold in any given month are Teslas. We are starting to see, bright spot here, the average transaction price for EVs go down.
So could this all be planned by the legacy manufacturers to keep raising ICE prices so much that the average transaction price of ICE vehicles will suddenly become higher than the average transaction price of EVs, thus forcing people to take a more optimistic view at potentially purchasing an EV, because they can say to themselves, well, it's less than an ICE vehicle.
I think you could be onto something.
Well, strange.
So that is the latest data. We certainly have an affordability crisis when it comes to mobility in the United States. And the actions of automakers, dealers, and financial institutions are certainly to blame. This information, honestly, is appalling when you start to think about it.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Curious to hear what people think in the comments.